as you know, Russia's a lot bigger. It's a bigger military force. And if you're smart, you don't go involved and get involved in wars that you can blame the man that was sitting in this seat. Biden, he didn't know what the hell was going on. But I can guarantee you that, and everybody agrees to it, if I were president, that war would have never taken place. I'm not blaming him. But what I am saying is that I wouldn't say he's done the greatest job. Okay? I'm not a big fan. I really am. I'm not a big fan.
This is my video update on this Friday, midday, April the 18th, coming to you from Larnaca, Cyprus. Let's talk about some news. And let's start things off with the meeting in Paris, the mini Ukraine summit that took place in France with the United States in attendance, the UK, Germany, of course, France was also there, and so was Ukraine, represented by Elensky's entertainment lawyer, Yermak, and the foreign minister and the defense minister. Salt, huh? I feel like I'm walking on the moon, as the police once sang. Walking on the moon. Anyway, so we had the meeting in Paris. I believe Witkoff also met with Macron. Rubio met with the French foreign minister, whose name no one knows. I don't know it, but anyway, we had this meeting that took place, and the reports are that the United States presented some sort of a roadmap, a plan going forward for Project Ukraine. And if everybody can agree to this plan, Ukraine, the Europeans, Russia, then everything is good. But if they can't agree to this roadmap or this plan that they presented, then it looks like the Trump White House is ready to walk away. That's a summary of what they're telling us happened in France. And it's actually what Rubio said as he was leaving France, as he was at the airport talking to the media. He pretty much said that this was the purpose of the trip, to try and get everybody on board. And if we can't get everybody on board for this roadmap, then the United States has to move on. I think those are the exact words that he used. The United States has to move on. Rubio called Lavrov after the meeting, and he briefed Lavrov as to what was discussed. Lavrov told Rubio that Russia remains committed to trying to resolve the conflict in Ukraine, always with the goal to address the root causes of the conflict in Ukraine. That's pretty much what Lavrov said, the foreign ministry. And Kellogg was also there, actually. Rubio was there, Witkoff was there, and Kellogg was there. So you had, on the one side of things, you had the neocons with their unconditional ceasefire plan, and on the other side of things, you had Witkoff with June 2024 Istanbul Plus. Witkoff is someone who understands that in order to get to some sort of a resolution with Project Ukraine, then the territories, the 4 territories plus Crimea, they have to be recognized as part of the Russian Federation, something that Ukraine has said, that the Zelensky regime has said they will never accept. France They said that any deal has to be based in reality, must start from reality. That is what France said. That's the way they're spinning it. And when I mean spinning it, not my words, Politico's words. Politico says France says Ukraine's ceasefire must start from reality. After U.S. meeting, the Elysee spun the meetings as the start of a positive process in which Europeans are involved. Yeah, if you go by this title from Politico, it's basically saying that the meeting did not go well. When they use words like spun, they spun the meeting as something positive, and that the Europeans, they believe that now they're going to be part of the negotiations. That means that this meeting did not go well. Did not go well at all if you're the Europeans. At least that's the way I'm reading this reporting from Politico. The ceasefire has to be based in reality, start from reality. It has to start from reality. That's coming from France. The delusional Macron government says that that peace has to start from reality when it comes to Ukraine. A France that believes that it can enter Ukraine, make its way to Odessa, and that Russia is going to do nothing. And they're talking about reality. Okay. Anyway, that's a summary of the meeting. My sense of things is that the United States went to France. They briefed Germany, UK, and France as to what the Trump administration is thinking when it comes to Project Ukraine, and that is that the United States is going to walk away. I think that's pretty much what they told the Europeans. Either we go with the 5 territories, accepting the 5 territories are now part of the Russian Federation, and we start from there, or we're walking away from Project Ukraine. That's my sense of things. And I believe that Kellogg was there. This would just be a guess, but I believe that Kellogg was at this meeting in order to tell the Europeans that his unconditional ceasefire plan, freezing the conflict and creating a DMZ and having European peacekeepers is a no-go. That would be my guess. Kellogg was there to tell the French, the British, the Germans, President Trump is not so hot on my unconditional ceasefire plan. But who knows? Maybe it's the other way around. Maybe Witkoff was there to say that Trump's not going to go with the June 2024 5 territories root causes plan, and he wants to go with the unconditional ceasefire, and we're going to escalate when it comes to Project Ukraine. I don't know. Could be the opposite, but I doubt it. I absolutely doubt it. And the reason I say I doubt it is because of what Rubio said when he was at the airport about to leave France. And let me read you what Rubio said. This is coming from CNN. Rubio warns if it's not possible to end the war in Ukraine, U.S. needs to move on. U.S. Secretary of State Marco Rubio said Friday that if it is not possible to end the war in Ukraine, the United States needs to abandon its efforts and move on. Quote, if it is not possible to end the war in Ukraine, we need to move on, he told reporters before departing Paris. We need to determine very quickly now, and I'm talking about a matter of days, whether or not this is doable. Speaking Friday, Rubio said he and Witkoff had come to Paris to begin to talk about more specific outlines of what it might take to end the war and whether or not this is a war that can be ended. If it's not possible, if we're so far apart that this is not going to happen, then I think the president is probably at a point where he's going to say, we're done, he said. It's not our war. We didn't start it. The United States has been helping Ukraine for the past 3 years, and we want it to end. But it's not our war, he added. President Trump has spent 87 days at the highest level of this government, repeatedly taking efforts to bring this war to an end. We are now reaching the point when we need to decide and determine whether this is even possible or not, which is why we're engaging both sides. That's a pretty clear statement from Rubio. If we can't get an agreement between Ukraine and the Europeans, then we're moving on. And he said, it's not our war twice, which is what President Trump said. And Rubio is repeating it to the Europeans face to face. It's not our war. It is your war. You started it. We know that. I'm not going to get into all of that, the history of it, of everything. But the U.S. can walk away from this. They can walk away from this war. The United States is very far away. The Europeans are right there, but the U.S. is far away, and they can say, you know what, we're done. We have a new administration, a new president, Biden's war. We're done with Project Ukraine. We're wrapping things up. See you later. The U.S. has the ability and the power to do that. So I believe I did read that Kellogg was there. I do believe that Kellogg was at this meeting. But now I'm starting to have doubts. I think he was there. Anyway, whatever. The message, I think, is very clear from Rubio. Very, very clear. I wonder if Rubio told Macron, if Witkoff and Rubio, if they told Macron and the UK, Germany as well, the coalition of the willing, the coalition of the losers. I wonder if he told them, don't go into Ukraine. If you go into Ukraine and try to move on the Black Sea, we're not going to be there to back you guys up. I wonder if he told them that. I sure hope he did, because it does look like the coalition of the willing is preparing to enter Ukraine. That's the way it looks. And we recorded a video on the Duran, and Alexander actually he actually had a good take on how this is going to most likely go down. It's going to be Elensky, Ukraine, calling some sort of a unilateral ceasefire, right? They're going to say, okay, we're going to have a unilateral ceasefire, and we're going to invite, as Ukraine, as a sovereign nation, we have the right to invite a military into Ukraine in order to secure the Black Sea, and that's going to be France along with the UK, and that's most likely how this is going to go down, probably in the summertime. But we are getting reports. I read this morning that Macron is actually pressing for a ceasefire, even a unilateral ceasefire. Ukraine calling a ceasefire in a couple of days, on April 20th. So I don't know. Maybe they're going to make their move sooner. I don't know. I doubt it. I seriously doubt it, but we'll find out. April 20th. Easter Sunday is in a couple of days. So we'll soon find out if they're going to make their move in a couple of days, or if they're going to wait until summertime. But that's most likely how this is going to play out if France and the UK are serious about securing, as they call it, securing the Black Sea. It'll be an invitation by Elensky. So that is the update from France. And back in the United States, in the White House, Trump was meeting with Meloni, and he was asked about Project Ukraine. And Trump said that he's not a big fan of Elensky. He said he doesn't blame Elensky for the conflict in Ukraine, but he also said that he repeated what he said a couple of days ago, which is that you don't start a war with someone that is 20 times your size. And he said, I'm not a big fan of Elensky. He said, I'm not a big fan. That must have angered the Green Goblin back in Kiev. Hey, Podolyak, what this man say? He's not my fan. What's he talk about? I can play piano with my pee-pee. I can dance wearing high heels. How can you not be my fan? Yeah, so let me read you what Trump said. And always keep in mind, he's saying this with Meloni right next to him. So I think he's putting the message out there to Meloni, who is, without a doubt, moving in the direction of Trump. She is, at least it appears, that she is breaking from Ursula von der Crazy, and she is moving towards Trump. But of course, you always have to be careful with Meloni. She is a Trojan horse, and she can definitely play both sides. But she's sitting next to Trump, and Trump says this: I don't hold Elensky responsible, but I'm not exactly thrilled with the fact that that war started. So I'm not happy with him. I'm not happy with anybody involved. Trump went on to say that Russia has a bigger military force than Ukraine. If you're smart, you don't get involved in wars. I'm not blaming him. But what I am saying is that I wouldn't say he's done the greatest job, okay? I'm not a big fan. I'm not a big fan. That's gotta hurt the Green Goblin. That has gotta hurt the Green Goblin deep down inside. You know that hurts. It always hurts an actor when someone says, I'm not your fan. It always hurts an actor to hear those words. Because Zelensky has given quite a Churchillian performance, hasn't he, over the years? So that's what's happening in the United States. Meloni, she told the media that she is in the U.S., of course, because she believes that Europe and the United States are stronger together. She's repeating some Ursula lines there. We're stronger if we're united and together. But she also talked about how she's looking for some sort of a deal that serves Italy's best interests as well. So Meloni, always playing both sides, right? Be careful with Meloni. In Kiev, the Green Goblin, as the meeting was taking place in Paris with Elensky's entertainment lawyer, Yermak, Elensky was talking to the media, and he lashed out at Witkoff. Again, he lashed out at Witkoff. And Zelensky once again said that Witkoff is some sort of a Russian stooge, or at least that's what he implied. He didn't say those exact words, but he implied that Witkoff is either willingly or he doesn't know it, but he is parroting Russian disinformation. He has been compromised. K plus G. Who could that be? K plus G. I don't know. But let me read you what Elensky said about Witkoff. So this is now what, the third or fourth time that he has lashed out at Witkoff. He said, I believe Mr. Witkoff has adopted the strategy of the Russian side. I think this is very dangerous, as he is, wittingly or unwittingly, spreading Russian narratives, Elensky said on Thursday. He added that Witkoff had no mandate to discuss potential territorial changes. He has no mandate to discuss these changes, except that he does have the mandate from the President of the United States. But anyway, he does have a mandate. Now, you may not like that mandate, but given the fact that the United States has spent $300 billion, $400 billion, $500 billion, who knows, on Project Ukraine, and they have been running Project Ukraine for the last 3-4 years from a command center in Germany, providing weapons, providing intel and targeting. I would say that that President Trump, if he wants to give Witkoff a mandate, he can give Witkoff a mandate to negotiate Project Ukraine, at least on the United States' behalf. And the United States is part of the conflict, so maybe Witkoff cannot speak for Ukraine, for the Elensky regime, but he can definitely speak for the United States of America. And if Witkoff says that the U.S. is on board with Istanbul Plus, then so be it. And if there is no deal based around Istanbul Plus, then the United States can take all of their money and weapons and toys and everything and leave and walk away. Absolutely, he has that mandate, no doubt about that. So let's go to the United Nations. The United Nations, and we had look at that. Isn't that pretty? We had in the UN another resolution trying to condemn Russia when it comes to Project Ukraine. And what happened is incredible. It's happened before under President Trump, but it's incredible that it has happened again. And that is that the resolution was turned down by the United States. The U.S. voted against this resolution, as did, of course, Russia and Belarus and a whole lot of other countries. Let me see here. Do I have a list of countries that voted against this resolution? I believe 107 countries voted for this resolution, and a lot of other countries voted against this resolution. The United States voted against it, with Russia voting against it, Belarus, Mali, Congo, Nicaragua, Niger, Sudan, Eritrea, and a whole bunch of other countries. They voted against this resolution. So once again, the United States is teaming up with Russia and with Belarus at the UN to vote down a resolution that condemns Moscow. That says a lot. That absolutely says a lot as to what Trump is moving towards when it comes to Russia. Normalization of diplomatic relations. That's what's going on here. Cyprus. Cyprus. If you like speed, then Cyprus is a pretty good place. So what can we talk about next? How about the Reuters report, which I believe now is all but confirmed, with LNG, with Russian LNG and the European Union 17th sanctions package. I discussed this 4 or 5 days ago, and it looks like this is what is going to go down with the 17th sanctions package and Russian LNG, which is that the European Union will not include Russian LNG in their 17th sanctions package. And as I said a couple of days ago, the reason behind this is that the EU believes that by not banning Russian LNG, sanctioning Russian LNG, they can use this as leverage with the United States as they enter into trade talks. I read an article this morning which claimed that if the trade talks, the tariff trade talks between the United States and the EU break down, then you could be looking at a cost of 1.3 trillion for the European Union if Trump tariffs hold at that 20%. And if they cannot work out some sort of a deal, it's going to be very costly for the European Union and very costly, especially for Germany. So the decision, one official told the agency, Reuters, was driven by internal opposition, uncertainty over replacing the supply, but also concerns that a ban could weaken the EU's negotiating power with the United States. The European Commission is reportedly seeking to use energy imports, including LNG, as leverage to persuade the US to lift tariffs on EU goods. So that's the negotiating strategy from the European Union. It's not a very good strategy. Not a very good strategy at all. But what else could you expect from Ursula and Kaja Kallas? Yeah, so basically the European Union, they're going to tell the United States that either you lower the tariffs or get rid of the tariffs, or else we're going to what? Buy more Russian LNG. But if you lower the tariffs, then we'll buy US LNG. I don't think they've thought this one through at all. Lower the tariffs, we'll buy US LNG. Don't lower the tariffs, we're going to buy Russian LNG. Trump or Putin? Putin or Trump? Who do we choose? Yeah, I think this is going to be an easy negotiation for the Trump administration. The European Union tariff negotiation is going to be pretty straightforward for the United States, if you ask me. Oh man. So anyway, that's an update with that story. In Germany, we are getting reports that the Taurus missiles are going to be a no-go, even for Chancellor Merz. The next wonder weapon, the Taurus missiles that Merz was talking up and threatening Russia with. Remember 6 months ago, Merz actually threatened Putin, and he said, if Putin does not capitulate in 24 hours, then I am going to suggest that the German parliament approve Taurus long-range missiles to Elensky. Remember that threat from BlackRock Merz? Yeah, well, as he's about to become chancellor, we have a statement from Rheinmetall, the weapons manufacturer in Germany. Their director said that the Taurus missiles will not help Kiev. That is what I believe the CEO of Rheinmetall said. So Taurus missiles will do nothing for the Zelensky regime. And we also have the leader of the SPD coming out with a statement, the coalition partner of Germany, of the CDU, of Merz's CDU. And he came out with a statement and said that Merz is not going to give the Taurus missiles once he is briefed on the dangers of giving the Taurus missiles to Ukraine. And what the SPD leader was referencing was the fact that everyone knows if the Taurus missiles were given to Ukraine, then that would mean that German military officials would have to be the ones operating those Taurus missiles, which would mean that Germany is directly a party in the conflict in Ukraine. I'll also say this. I bet you Germany understands that without the United States providing satellite intel and targeting, stuff like that, the Taurus missiles have no chance of accomplishing anything in the conflict in Ukraine. So anyway, that's an update on the Taurus missiles. And let's now talk about Vucic, Serbia, and the Victory Day, May 9th event. And Vucic has come out with a statement. And as I said in my video a couple of days ago, Vucic has indeed said that he will attend the May 9th Victory Day. He has to go to the May 9th Victory Day. He actually said he was going to go to the event 9 months ago. I believe he was one of the first leaders to commit to going to the Victory Day parade. Anyway, Vucic, he came out and he said, "I have not changed my decision. I am ready for the whole sky to fall on my head from the pressure to go to Moscow. 8 months ago, I announced my visit to Moscow publicly," Vucic said on Wednesday, as cited by Serbian media. So yeah, he had to go. He has to go. As I said, he has to go. If he were to cancel his trip to Moscow, then that would look beyond weak. Who knows? His government might have collapsed if he canceled that trip. I don't know. But you cannot fold to the threats of Kaya Kallas. So that's an update there. And what else should we get to? Do I even have a clown world for today? I don't even have a clown world for today. I think that's all the news on this Good Friday. Clown world, clown world. I don't have anything. I saw a video of Meloni saying hello to Musk as she was in the United States. She was in the White House. She said hello to Elon Musk, her crush. Yeah. Anyway, that's it for this video. TheDuran.locals.com. Look at how beautiful this is. Beautiful architecture, huh? TheDuran.locals.com. We are on Rumble, ODYSEE, BitChute, Telegram, Rockfin, and X. Go to the Duran shop, pick up some merch, like what I am wearing in this video update. A link is in the description box down below. Take care.